used to often tell people that that was my only talent, that I can only be a therapist. I can't play the piano. I don't run marathons. I do therapy. Yeah.
Hey, empowered vegan lifers, Ella here with my co-host. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, Ella. Good morning.
Good morning to you, and it is an early morning for you. Bless your heart. You are you are having to chit chat at 5 a.m. in your time.
Yeah, well, it's a little early here. It's a little early. Yeah, I'm usually up by this time. I'm just not usually quite verbal.
Right. Yeah. Yes. I mean, my alarm goes off at 4:44. That does not mean I'm ready to get up and have a conversation with another human being at 4:44. Just shy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. But if I'm pausing a little bit more than usual, then our listeners will know why.
Exactly. No worries. No worries. This is actually, we were chatting about this yesterday. This is not going to start out as quite as butterflies and rainbows as we usually have the tone set on these episodes, because it's been a rough week.
It has been. It's been a rough 24 hours, to be sure. Yeah.
Yes, 48. Yeah. So for our listeners, there's no ignoring this. And you know what, I do want to celebrate as well. I had posted in our Empowered Vegan Life Facebook group, and I know I always talk about, we talk a lot about Vegan Life Coach Academy, but our Empowered Vegan Life group is an amazing group. It's free to the public. And, I asked for people's energy and prayers and whatever contributions they could make, because Shy, my little 9-pound rescue Chihuahua, who's now 14, maybe 15 years old, she jumped off the bed 2 mornings ago. Or was it yesterday morning? Oh my gosh, was yesterday?
No, it was 2 mornings ago, because I said 24 hours and you said 48, but you're right. It was 2 mornings ago.
Right. So 2 mornings ago. It is all smashing together in my brain now, but she jumped off the bed and I heard a yelp, and I turned on the light real quick and looked, and she was like laid out flat on her side on the bed, or on the floor. And she hurt her spine. And it was the most terrifying thing. For those of you who don't know, I don't have children. Shy is my child. She is my fur baby. I've had her for 12 years. Got her from Miami-Dade Animal Services. And she is just, the love of my life. She is my little sidekick. It's through thick and thin, we've been together. And so I rushed her to the doctor. She ended up going to the neurologist. She ended up spending the night at the neurologist. She needed an MRI. She couldn't use her limbs. But she's home now. And we've got a long road ahead of us in terms of recovery. She's still not really wanting to stand, but they're trying to avoid surgery. And we are going to give her a month on bed rest and some medications. And we are going to just pray that she can heal herself. And I have to say, if there is a tough little cookie, it's Shy. She is something else, this little one.
Yes, she is fierce. You can see it in her eyes too. This morning when I said good morning, you can see it in her eyes that she's herself completely.
She's here. Yeah. She's on doggy Valium, so we give her a little.
Well, we all need a little break every once in a while, don't we?
We do. And she growled at the cats yesterday, so that was cool.
Heck yeah.
Very happy about that. What else did she do? Oh, she ate some Beyond Meat.
Good for her. Yes.
If I need a treat, Beyond Meat, man. It's not in big doses, but she gobbled that down. So So thank you all for sending your energy. I really believe in that, the power of groups, especially. All sending their energy, healing energy, positive energy. prayers, whatever you want to call it, it works, you know. We're all made up of energy. The universe is made up of energy, and there's no, you know, time and space is, you know, it's not really reality. So we're all, the way I see it is we're all living in this kind of video game, right? And there really are no rules, and we're living by rules so that we can play this game we call life and have this human experience. But I really am all about the quantum physics and mechanics and exploring that whole thing. So again, thank you for all of you who are sending out your love, your healing vibes, and your positive energy our way. And let's send some to Hemi as well, who is going through heartworm treatment.
Yes, Hemi's going through heartworm treatment. This is his second and third round. They do them back to back, and so he spent the night at the vet as well last night, and then hopefully tonight he gets to come home. He hasn't been away from us since we rescued him. He's always been kind of by our side, and he sleeps with us, and so yeah. I did call the vet yesterday. He's very popular, apparently.
Oh,
Hemi. Of course, yes.
Of course,
which of course we all knew. But the vet said, you know, Hemi's very popular. Your husband's called. Your ex-husband is called, because my ex loves him too. And then I had called, and then he was actually out in his very drugged state, just visiting with others. And so he was being Hemi.
We've got to post some pictures.
We really should.
So adorable.
He is. He's the first dog we've dressed up. Because he's so laid back, and he has a little bow tie, and of course he has his Chiefs jersey, and so he gets all dressed up, and he looks we named him Hemingway because his face looks so earnest, but he couldn't be further from earnest. He's just this handsome goofball. We just love him. Yeah.
Aww. Well, I also wanted to tell you, before all this happened last weekend, I did the Wim Hof retreat.
Yes. How was it?
It was amazing. I love that man. I mean, do you know how many people signed up for this online 2-day retreat?
No.
Over 3,000.
Really?
All over the world. There are people, you know, in Australia, from Europe, Asia, United States, Canada, everywhere. And it was so cool to be there. I mean, I of course would love to be there in person, but this made it, you know, affordable for a lot of people. It made it so that we could all get together, and just Wim Hof for those of you who don't know who Wim Hof is, I guess I should start with that. He is known as the Iceman. He has set over 21 world records. He holds the world record for the longest underwater ice dive. So he dives like underwater, under ice. He believes in the healing power, and there's much science to back it up, of both his breathing methods and cold therapy. And he also, he's all about getting in control, using the power of your mind to be in control of your immune system. So, yeah.
Wow.
Super interesting. So he talks about it being something he's not special. He said anybody can learn this. And that's one of the things I love about him. He's like, I can teach anyone. So he's taught people in a matter of 4 to 10 days. He injected himself with a virus, and I believe it was the Ebola virus. And he was able to, with his mind, and he was hooked up, and it was on film, and doctors were there monitoring every step of the way. And using his breathing methods, he was able to basically cleanse his body of the virus without getting ill from it. And he's taught other people they would inject them with an endotoxin, which causes chills and shivers and, extreme sickness. And we see it on camera with the power of their mind and the breathing that he does. They were able to rid their body of the virus without experiencing all those symptoms. So amazing. Yeah, Incredible. And he is just a character and a half. And I did find out he is vegetarian. I think he might even be vegan. So that was cool. So
Yeah.
I have to reach out. I mean, he was on one of the latest episodes, I believe, of Goop with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're curious, like watch that because it's very, very mainstream, and he teaches some of the Goop lab peeps to do the cold therapy, and they jump in basically ice water and do the breathing. And it's really special to watch.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I was just recently introduced to him through Insight Timer. There was a 30-day morning meditation challenge, and he was one of the leaders. And it was incredible. It was incredible. I've gone back to that meditation over and over and over again.
That's awesome.
Using one of his breathing techniques. Yeah.
One of the things I want to do in our Empowered Vegan Life group is have some breathing sessions, not led by me, but more of an accountability thing where we get up and do it together in the morning.
That is a fantastic idea. That 30-day morning challenge on Insight Timer was amazing. And I really believe it was the collective energy.
Yeah.
It wasn't that we were all doing the same thing at the same time. It was that we were all meditating at the same time, and just coming together in that. And it was different. It was different than my normal everyday morning practice. So yeah.
Love it. So if you're interested in joining us for that, we'll put the link in the show notes to get on our mailing list so we can send you emails about it, and also to join Empowered Vegan Life if you're not a member of our Facebook group. And I know some of you don't use Facebook, which I totally get. It just happens to be, a pretty easy place for us all to get together. So if you're not a member of the Empowered Vegan Life group, definitely join us there. We'll be doing it through that group.
Absolutely. Come
so,
join us.
What do you think? Should we get to our topic at hand today?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we are talking about coaching versus therapy. And first, Stephanie, I know we talk about your background some, but can you tell us a little more about your background in therapy?
Sure. So my background is in clinical psychology. My master's degree is in clinical psych, and I have an emphasis in forensics and addictions. So I was a licensed counselor for a long time in the field of corrections and helping individuals overcome their addictions, and also, counseling with people with mental illnesses, depression, anxiety, personality disorders, that sort of thing. So that's kind of where I come from. I used to often tell people that was my only talent, that I can only be a therapist. I can't play the piano. I don't run marathons. I do therapy. So well, that's where I come from.
I have to say, every time, and now we've worked together for many years, and every time I hear you get on a group coaching call, you're in your zone.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting about what we've done in our intensive programming, such as the 6-week intuitive food and fitness coaching program we're about to wrap up right now, this session. There's a little bit of a combo, and this is interesting because I want us to really talk about the differences between coaching and therapy and counseling. Even I have my master's degree in social work, so I went through a lot of internships working with families and children, and some with the homeless as well. But after that, I jumped right into coaching. So I don't have a lot of career experience as a therapist like you do. So I just love what you bring to the table, to be honest, how you do it from a coaching standpoint, but there are aspects of therapy, especially your work in addictions, especially when we're dealing with people with food addictions. And self-sabotaging behavior. And I think that's so related. So do you want to talk for a moment just on, in general, the differences, the big differences of coaching versus therapy versus counseling? Because there's actually three that might be confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when you're looking at being in therapy and taking on that, you're really thinking about taking care of dysfunction in your life. Life is just simply not working for you. You are not, you're not functioning on any level, and so the things that are, you know really holding you back are often hurts from the past, mental illness that has gone untreated, and now you're addressing that. And that's really what therapy is about. Counseling can be a part of that, but often counseling is also about very specific life issues too. And so, therapy is more of a holistic, kind of the holistic umbrella, and counseling can be a part of that. And I think when we're talking about addictions specifically, therapy is important. It's important to really take care of those underlying issues that really drive that dysfunction, drive the addiction. Whereas coaching is much more future oriented. Now, certainly we can dip back into the past a little bit to take care of some things that are unresolved or that keep popping back up. But coaching is really about getting you to move forward in your life, getting you from a place of just functioning then to thriving. And so I think that there's a place for all of that. And I often say, to therapists that I talk to, and there's a lot of therapists and counselors that are going from, that are kind of taking their practice into coaching, is not necessarily that coaches should be therapists, but that therapists and counselors should really be taking on some more coaching skills, I think. Because I think that's it's a very important distinction. But I think that just leaving people at functioning, it's not enough for most people. Most people want to be thriving. And so that's what we do. We help people thrive, which is an exciting place to be.
Yes, it reminds me of Dr. Joe Dispenza's Rewired series, where he says, we're going from ordinary to extraordinary. Yes. That's what I like to think about. Our programming is helping people go from existing, from feeling just normal to really thriving. So I love that. And I think that you're so right on. My opinion is the same in terms of using more coaching tools as part of therapy would be so beneficial, especially in the latter stages of the therapy. So yeah, I think that's a great point. And interestingly, in my social work background, we talked about coming from a strengths perspective.
Yeah.
So that's along the same line. So even though we were talking about counseling and therapy, there are different perspectives that people come from. And we really did a future orientation when we were trained as social workers, which I thought was very progressive. And so I was able to carry a lot of those tools into my coaching practice. And so what we talk about in our coaching a lot is acknowledging the past, but not honing in on it, not focusing on it, not saying, okay, we're stuck where we are until we figure out the why. Why am I doing this? Why am I self-sabotaging? Sure, we can explore and say, oh, you know what, that might have been it. Those are some core beliefs that I have about who I am and what I'm capable of and what my dysfunctions are. That's maybe where they came from. But the cool thing is that I get to redefine those right here, right now, moving forward. I get to figure out who I want to be and what I want to do with my life. And all I'm missing is some tools to help me get there. because we get to rewire our brains. We get to reprogram these programs that we were, developed as a child from what our parents said to us, what our teachers said to us, the littlest things, like a teacher calling you bad, right? Instead of
Yes.
acknowledging that, maybe the behavior you were doing was bad, but you're not bad. So if little things like this that we think are little can make a huge impact on how somebody thinks about themselves growing up. So parents have, the more I learn about this and the importance, the more I understand how important words are, especially for people working with children and parents with children.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I do think that our coaching program is unique in that we come from these perspectives. We have this background, and so we are able to help people really at that core level, which generally people really address in therapy. Because it often fuels the dysfunction. But in our coaching program, we're helping people really uncover that so that they can move forward. They're at a place in their lives where they just may not be very aware of what fuels some of those decisions, what fuels some of their thinking patterns. And once they're uncovered, they're like, oh, well, then I now have the tools to really challenge this and move on. So yeah.
Yes, I think we're unique in a number of ways, because these tools are also specifically helping people adopt a healthy vegan lifestyle.
Yeah.
When you are in control of your thoughts, of your emotions, when you are able to take intentional actions, and that's what we help people do. If your values are, I don't want to eat animals, or I want to be healthy and fit and active for a lifetime, and so I want to eat a plant-based diet, these are things that we help people do. And I'd love to read actually an email I got from one of our clients in our coaching program right now that demonstrates, and this is towards the end, and she was saying, I think 3 weeks in, how different she felt already within 3 weeks. And now she has been without sugar in her diet, which was her main addiction, which was one of the main reasons she came into our program. She couldn't quit that sugar. And she's been without sugar now for 5 weeks. I think maybe 6 weeks now. And she's to the point of not even wanting it anymore. So, these tools are so powerful. So I got this email, and let's share. She said, I'm listening to the abundance part of the training, and I just have to tell you how moved I am with your story. I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am that you took that leap to do what you are doing to transform people's lives. When I joined this program, I never imagined that my life would be transforming in the way it is. I kind of realized, but didn't fully realize what an impact all the past hurts and resentments were doing to my life and spiraling me out of control to not take care of myself. I didn't feel worthy. I could not get a hold of this crazy eating, binging, restricting, beating up cycle. I know there is a long way to go and a lot of work to be done, but you are so right. This was an investment of a lifetime and really made me put in the work and dedication that I wasn't giving it before. I feel empowered beyond belief and owe it all to you and Stephanie. And it is spilling over into other aspects of my life, thinking about a future Reiki business with my sister, decluttering the house that I haven't been able to do for years. You are so insightful, inspiring, and knowledgeable, and should be proud of the tremendous work you do. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for welcoming me into this program, and I look forward to a long friendship from here. Wow.
That's beautiful. And that really does illustrate the power of coaching. You can be in therapy for years and years, but coaching, it's very fast moving. If you really engage in the process of coaching, because you have taken care of that dysfunction, you're ready to move forward once those awarenesses come. And that's an incredible illustration of the impact it has. Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the other things, Stephanie, I think we should mention is the topic of accreditation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there really are no governing boards for life coaches or, success coaches or wellness coaches versus therapists and counselors needing licenses to practice.
Yeah. And I think that this is a really unfortunate thing, honestly, because, I think accreditation is important. I hope that our field moves that way. I know that we are moving that way, hopefully in the future. And, so I do think that when people are looking for a good coach, you have to be very aware of that not every coach is worth paying your money for. Truthfully. I think that that's something that people aren't necessarily aware of. We think that coaches have a lot of education, that have a lot of background. And that's not necessarily the case. Anybody at all can call themselves a coach. So do your homework.
Do your homework. And I think one of the most powerful ways is to actually be able to hear from people who have received coaching from a coach.
Yes.
I mean, I'd say that's the number one way that I've found my coaches. I look at those testimonials and those, quotes and those videos from people that have, had the experience working with that person. And I know, they're obviously not going to be posting bad reviews, but, from my experience running these programs, really the only people that have had anything negative to say are people that weren't up for coming in and doing the work when it comes down to it.
Very, very true. Very, very true. And we have had people that have started to work with us, and we have decided, we really need to move you in a different direction because you really do have some things that need to be taken care of in therapy. And so, if you choose to work with us, we're going to tell you if you're ready for coaching or if you're ready for something else. So
one last thing I want to just mention before we wrap things up is how powerful group coaching is. And I know there's a place for group and individual coaching, but I have to say, I was shocked when I first started out so many years ago doing this work and creating these coaching programs. I thought, people are going to need and want the individual coaching. That's where the value is that one-on-one time. When it turns out the opposite is true.
Yeah.
It's the group coaching that makes the biggest impact. It's the group coaching that not only helps people progress, but creates a sense of bonding and community, and understanding and learning from other people's and their struggles, especially when we've got this beautiful cohesive group of compassionate people who all have similar struggles. Yes, they show up in very different ways in people's lives, but the root struggles are very similar. So no matter who's getting coached on that call, everybody is in tune. Everybody is getting something out of it for themselves.
Absolutely. And this really brings our conversation full circle because it's the same type of power that we were talking about in the beginning, that power of just the collective and being together and forming and directing our energy towards the same purpose. And the power of the group cannot be underestimated. Group coaching is really so much more impactful. And, as a coach, when I hear people say, their group members had such an impact on them, I mean, really, that's what we want, right? I mean, I love hearing these letters from our people that, who tell us, what an impact we've had in their lives. But it's that group. We know that we're doing our job when our groups talk about each other. Because that's the power, and that's what we really, really want. It is such an impactful experience to know you're not alone and to really know it. We all have this head knowledge of we're not alone. But to actually really know it deep within our souls, deep within our beings, knowing that our problems are not special. They're not unique. We are, but our problems are not. And so that we can face them together, and so that we can come along aside each other and help shoulder those burdens is really very life-changing. So
So
yeah.
true. So true. So next action steps, you guys, we will be opening the doors to Vegan Life Coach Academy again soon.
Yes.
So make sure you're on that mailing list so you will get notified. We have a waiting list for Vegan Life Coach Academy. We only open the doors about 4 times a year. And that's the best way. We will be doing another intensive program soon. But most of the people that did our intensive were people that had already experienced Vegan Life Coach Academy, because you get a taste of what we do and you get to experience kind of, many of the tools and some of the coaching that you get in the intensive. So we definitely recommend getting in there to a very, small investment, small commitment, which is the Vegan Life Coach Academy. And then when it's time to open our doors for another intensive, you will have more knowledge and more confidence to make a larger investment and commitment in time and money.
Yeah.
And as Suzanne said, the more you invest, the more you get out of it. It just is the way it is. So, so there you go. We're going to wrap it up here, you guys. Make sure to get on that wait list for Vegan Life Coach Academy. Share this with all your friends. And we do have a quiz that we've recently created to help you find your blind spots. What's not working for you, and how can you address it? Whatever's keeping you from living your healthiest, happiest vegan life. And so take that quiz. We got so many opportunities for you. Take advantage of those today, you guys. And we'll see you on the next one.